Hello fans of Marvel Heroes, my name is Wilfred and welcome to my channel. If you like this sort of guide, to check out the description of the video, there are more guides for you to watch. Now today let's talk about the offensive stats, how you make sense out of all these numbers and so on. I have always been having a lot of questions on how to interpret the percentage base and the base damage rating, the various physical whatnot damage rating, percentage as well, melee and this and that. Now how do I know what to gear for and how all these numbers work? And also moreover, I've got a lot of questions in the past and also in the present on how to look at crit, because you have the melee crit, you have the physical crit, then if my hero does physical and melee, am I taking the max of the crit and so on. So I'd like to dedicate one single video to explain this thing to you. And this is not going to be just like an information download, because I know a lot of you want more from me. You want to know how the numbers work. So I'm going to use the spreadsheet and to slowly walk through with you how all these numbers work. Not only that, I'm going to validate in front of your eyes to prove that what I'm saying is actually what the game reflects as well. I know some of you may be very expert in numbers and so on, so all this become very obvious to you. But I also come across a lot of you who are from different backgrounds, who have struggled a lot on the number, even on the spreadsheet as well. So I'm going to take it slowly. So I hope you can understand why I'm taking it so slowly, just to make sure that everyone understands. But feel free to click around in the, I will try to put some time code here and there. If you want to skip to a crit version or section or whatnot. All right. So now I'm using Electra to demonstrate. I have reset all my Omega pawns. I'm going to reset all my Omega pawns to demonstrate to you how this thing works. I'm going to run through a few scenarios. So I'm going to take off this thing as well. And so I always start with the baseline on all this number. Now you can take a look at all this number here. Like you have the damage rating 2110, 36%. So you have this 2110, 36%. 3354, 24.7%. All right. So all these numbers just copy from there. And then we have the melee part as well, because my Electra is physical and melee, and 3913 and 8.5. All right. So this is what I copy from the game character sheet. And also I'm going to use this particular power to validate right in front of your eyes that I'm not just some dude talking about numbers and not checking the reality. I'm going to show it to you how this number changes as I put on the gear itself. All right. Now I'm using Deadliest of all assassins as a range to it. It has a range to it, but I'm going to take the maximum, which is 72204. So I'm going to have it here, 72204 as my baseline. Now I'm going to do a little bit of calculation here. And I'm going to validate against the game, right? So now, in the past, if you've been with the game for quite some time, in the past we have the brutal chance, which has the governed by two stats: the percentage and the rating. Rating suffers from diminishing return, percentage doesn't. So back then was really fun because the game allowed you a little bit of like what is the percentage, what is the diminishing return. Very much like damage reduction right now. You have from the gear, the percentage give you the sometimes the hero does 8% flat damage reduction, but then you also have defense dot rating have a diminishing return to add on to that, to modify that. So it is fun. But now, of course, with the Hela nerf and so on, all the nerfs so on, they remove this percentage component. In the damage kind of like scenario, there are also two parts to it. One is the percentage, another one is the rating. I suspect in the beginning they wanted to have some, they cater for the future in the event whereby they want to have a percentage and then may have a damage rating with a different formula. But in the end, it is not. It is a very much simple addition of one after the other and just add them all up, become the what you see today. So now, you can't add this and this together, of course not. You have to convert this into a percentage, then you can add them together. To do that, you divide it by 40. So, by the way, I'm using a spreadsheet. If you have a Google account, you can go to drive.google.com and just open up your one of the spreadsheet and try this out. So to do that, you have this number here divided by 40. Will give you the percentage. Of course, you need to divide by another 100, of course. That will give you the percentage. Okay, so base damage is exactly the same. There's no conversion. Physical damage rating is equal to this one divided by 40 divided by 100. Give you a percentage. This one is the same as this guy, and this one is equals to again this one divided by 40, right? So divided by 100. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's the second time I'm making this video. My recording crashed and I have to do it again, but that's fine. So now the damage rating itself is actually rolling up to the physical, energy, and mental damage rating. Do not double count. So whenever you buff the damage rating, it buff the physical damage rating as well. I'm going to show it to you, all right? Just believe me for just a moment, all right? So your combined buff to your power would be equal to sum of all this there, sum of all this power here. Base damage, your physical damage rating, physical base, melee damage rating, and melee base. For my Electra, for this particular power, right? Some power have different tagging. I'm just using this as an example. Your spreadsheet may be different. If you're looking at, say, Cyclops, it does range and energy, nothing to do with physical and melee, okay? So now, you know that the power, without any Omega system kind of like investment, the power is buffed by 250%. So this 72204 has already been buffed. But what was the power before it's buffed? So you have to derive that. To do that, let me give you an example, right? So say Starbucks coffee, $5 per cup. And one day Starbucks say, well, we need to make more money and say we have a 10% increase. So intuitively, 10% of $5 is 50 cents. So it becomes 550. How do you derive 550? It's 5 times bracket 1 plus 10%, which is 0.1. So it's 1.1 times 5 become 5.5. All right. So to work out what was the number before the buff will be equals to this one divided by bracket 1 plus this one here. Will give you the before buff power. Now I'm going to use this number with all this scenario later to validate to you right in front of your eyes that I'm doing what the game is doing. Okay. Now 10% base is rather easy to simulate. So to do 10% base, I just need to pick the Omega system here, which is the Earth. So Earth give me 10% base. There you go. So now I have 10% base. Now let's work out math first, and after that I can show it to you how it works on the game to see whether I'm right or not, right? So what I do is that I just copy all this thing here, and you can do a copy, Control C, and paste only the formula because I've got some coloring here. So I'm going to paste the formula only. So this is 2 exactly the same. 10% base is really buffing the base damage here. 10% is 0.1. All right, it's 10 divided by 100. Okay, so it is supposed to be this set of number here. Am I right to say that? Let's check it out. So 10% base. If you look at my character sheet again, the damage rating is 2110, 52.7, no change to it, all right? And after that, you have the other one become 46%, okay? So this is 46%. Then the physical damage rating is 3354, and that is 83.8%, 83.85%. Now, notice that for this conversion, they are using they truncate the number. So if it is 83.85, instead of round up to 83.9, they give you 83.8. It is important later on when you see a little bit discrepancy here and there, because in this spreadsheet, Google is able to handle all these decimal places, but in the game it doesn't, right? Then you have the physical base, 24.7, which is no change to it. And after that, melee is 97 point something, which is here. The melee is 3913, 97.8, 3913, 97.8. So my formulas is sound. It converted nicely, correctly. All right? And the melee base is 8.5%. So all in all, it's being converted to 260.88%. How do I know this is the correct number? How do I know all these calculations is correct? So all you need to do is just look at the 30 years of assessing before buff times 1 plus this number here. That will give you 74262. 74262. So it's exactly the same as what the game is doing. And it's important because you always want to validate against what the game tells you rather than just run some number and hope that it's correct. Right? Hope is not the best strategy. And also you realize that 10% base increase doesn't really increase the overall damage output by 10%. Why? Because you have it is adding onto the buff itself. So all that bear in mind, the higher a number is, because of omega system, the attribute whatnot, the smaller the effect you will feel for this 10% base. Now, it's not that it diminishing return, it's not, it's just that you feel it slowly because the 10% for a bigger buff is not really a lot. All right, so just bear that in mind. It doesn't buff your power by 10%, all right? It buffs you incrementally by 10%. Let's do a 10% melee. This one is easy as well. So melee power is this one here. Give it durability and the defense durability. So this 10% to melee, all right? So according to all my numbering here, let's just do it a little bit faster here. So I copy all the formula here just to make sure that all this starting point is correct. And the so 10% melee is nothing but adding on to this one here. So this one plus 10%. Oh, sorry. This one plus 10%. Okay. So now my total is up to 170%. Again, you can validate it. Let me just do it quickly here so as not to lose your interest. So it's like so let's base damage is no, hang on. The damage rating 52.7 and 46, right? 52.7, 46, 83.8 and 24.7, 83.8 and 24.7, all right? And the base and the melee damage rating is 97, no change to it. 97.3, 18.5, 97.3, 97.8. Sorry, 97.8 and 18.5. So that's correct. So everything is correct. So I'm going to run through a number here again. So the base to melee doesn't change the damage rating number. Those are independent. All right. Let's take away point times 1 plus this number here will give me the 76320, which is this one, 76319. Remember I told you this game truncate, at least for this formula, damage rating formula, it truncates. So there's a discrepancy of very, very tiny one. So that is, formula is still correct. So next one, I'm going to use this artifact. The artifact give me 502 damage rating from the artifact itself. For the blessing itself, give me 300 damage rating to melee. So I'm going to equip it. Now, formula-wise, let's do this, right? Let's do it faster. Okay. Okay, and the conversion formula here, which is the formula over here, all right? So 10% to, so 502 damage rating would be plus, oh no, I had to do this one here, all right? Plus 502, all right? But don't forget, this one here also need to, physical damage rating has to be plus 502. And after that, you have the 300 melee, okay, 300. Now, am I right or am I wrong? So let's take a look at that. 2612 is the damage rating, 2612, correct? Yeah, 65.3%. And after that, 46. All right. Physical damage rating is 96.4%, correct? 20. And after that, 24.7%, also correct. Now after that, you have the 105.3 and 18.5. 105.3 and 18.5, all is correct. Okay, and after that, this one equals to the before the buff times 1 plus the total buff will give me 80,446. 80,444. So it's close enough. Again, truncation error, but that is very minor. All right. So now the last one I would like to show you is 360 damage rating and 10% physical base, because we haven't talked about those two stats. I just want to make sure they understand and convinced that I'm talking sense. All right. So now to simulate that is rather easy again. All you need to do just put some omega points to some nodes like this one here. All right. So I'm maxing this one and maxing this one. So this one give me 360 physical damage rating, 10% base physical damage, right? So again, what I do is that I carry on because I want to keep buffing myself and keep showing you how the thing works towards the end without having to reset things here and there. So this is again, let me just paste the formula here. So 2SM here, 360 physical damage is this guy here, 360. And then 10% base would be on the physical plus 10%. Okay. Ah, man. this is plus 0.1. 0.1. So this is the one that we have. So again, let's validate. I think by now you probably are convinced that. So I'm going to jump ahead and validate only the physical damage, which is 4216, 105%. So it is physical is see 105.4 and then 34.7. Okay, so this is validated, and the and just to there's no change to the melee. It's 105 and 18.5. All right, so the buff is very simple. Just add on to those components. And again, let's just do a final validation before we look at other stats. All right, times 1 plus this guy here will give me 84355. 84353. So again, truncation error. But I hope you get a picture here. Just to recap what you see from a damage rating perspective, no diminishing return. Everything just add up together. Damage rating rolled up to the physical, energy, and the mental. So you can more or less, it's useful for hybrid hero, but for your calculation, make sure you don't double count your number. All right, and you have to convert by divided by 40 to give you the percentage. Also, there may be truncation error, but it's not something that we can help to that. So yeah, so that is part 1 of it. Part 2 is about the crit damage to you, demo to you. All right. As for the crit, I'm going to remove the legendary here because it has the 750 crit hit rating. So I'm going to take it out and to start talking about before and after. All right. So now after I've taken out the legendary, I've got the crit hit rating 25. You have all these 2507, 2747, as well as the physical one 2829. So I've copied all here. How do you derive the rating in the chance? There's a diminishing return. So in my website, by the way, there's this is the one that I always link to you all. There's all this guy here for new player game guide, as well as the heroes, as well as all team up. And one of them is the formula for the crit, brutal damage, so on and so forth. So in my Q&A, I've listed out all the formula here. So I'm using that. Just copy that into here so they can reference to it. So to convert the rating into chance, all you need to do just do the same thing. Equals to 99 times crit hit rating divided by 3601 times the crit hit rating divided by 100 because that's become a percentage. Use that all for all here. So that would be the number 40.6, which is here, 40.6, all right? And then 42.8 is 42.8, and then the next one, the physical one, is going to be 43.6. So at least you know the formula is correct. Do some reality check, all right? So now I'm going to put 750 crit hit rating into the hero. And also before that, I would like to show you that we have the hero synergy system after the nerf. There's no more flat chance that is given by the synergy. Last time, Cable used to give you 2%. And also the Moon Knight give you 4%, so it's 6% flat last time. Now they don't do that. They want you to work a little bit harder. So now what I've got here, as you can see, is 4% buff to the crit hit rating, and also another 6% buff to my physical crit hit rating. As you will see later, it's actually a nerf itself. Okay, so I have this 4%, 6%. I'm going to do mathematical calculation here, and I'm going to validate against what I see on the screen and see whether I'm right or wrong. All right. So now this one is equal to this one here plus 750. They'll be buffed by the 4%. All right, but not the 6% because there's no physical tag into it. Okay. So give me a bit more, and this one would be equals to this guy here plus 750, okay, and the times also same thing, 1 plus the 4%, okay, so give me this one. As for the last one, because it's a physical, it will give me this one plus 750, that'll be buffed by 1 plus not only the 4% but also the 6% because it's both physical and just generic crit. Okay, so to give me this one. What does the chance look like? Let's just copy the formula across, and that's it. Now, am I right or am I wrong? Let's do it slowly. Crit is 3287. Okay, So let's see the crit is 3. Let me put it in. So it's 3287, correct? 47.3, 47.2. Now the difference is because, like I said before, for the crit formula, instead of truncate, you see on damage, they actually use a they move up to. So what I'm trying to say is, 47.24 they convert to 27.3. All right, so something you think about, but you don't need to be totally exact. And the for the melee crit is 49%. So 3527, right? 3527 is correct. And for the physical crit is the 3654. So it's 3654 with 49.9%. So it's also correct. Okay, so far so good. So all this interpretation of how this number incorporate into all these things, how this number incorporate into all these things, actually it makes sense. Now, but what if I turn off the hero synergy? Because it's rather interesting. Hero synergy affect the entire number here. So whatever here being buffed by hero synergy will get not buffed. So how you work it out is equals to this one divided by 1 plus the 4%. Okay. So this would be my how much I drop. So again, is this one divided by 1 plus 4%. And this one divided by more 1 plus 4 plus 6%. Okay, so again, let me do it in game and see whether it makes sense or not. Let me just copy the instant formula here. Yep. Okay. So now let's just do it. Turn it off in game. So my hero synergy system, I turn off the Moonlight, the 2%, 3%. I turn it off, and I also turn off the cable, 2%, 2%. Okay. Now if you look at my crit is 3161, correct? It's 46.3%. Right? That's correct. And then 3391, which is 48%. Yeah, it's correct as well. The last one is the 3322, 47.5. 3322, 47.5. So it's exactly correct. With that, then well, I know exactly what I'm doing. And by the way, what does it mean? It means your crit would drop for a bit, but we'll come to that later. Now, how to work out the combined one? Because a lot of people asking me if my power is tagged as melee and physical. Does it mean, what does that really mean in terms of the crit? So what it really means is this. You have the crit hit rating. So everything is converted by the rating itself, right? Because now you're convinced, right? So the combined rating would be what you have in the base plus what you have in melee but minus the base. This will give you just the melee crit components to it on the rating before diminishing return, plus what you have on the physical minus the base of it. All right. So this one would be your actual rating, combining the physical and melee. And what it really means is that from a formula point of view, it would be 45.6. It's slightly more than the max of the two. Now, how do I know this is correct? It's actually you don't, because in the unlike say other games, we have the damage meter that you can monitor all these crit chance and so on. No such thing in this game. But I'm confident that it should be correct, because by looking at the damage rating just now, I hope you're convinced how this tagging works. So long as the tagging correct, you always add those rating up. So that's how this game works. So I would interpret it that way, right? And with this one here, then of course you do the same thing as well. You can copy and paste the formula here. Okay, same thing. Then it get buffed, of course. If it is both a physical melee, it get a little bit higher as well. Just check this formula. Sometimes things may occur in a weird way. Okay, so and the last but not least is this one here. Let's just paste the formula there as well. Okay, so it's slightly higher. So the difference of using a hero synergy that last time give you 6% flat, right now will give you this one minus this one. will give you 2.3%, right? So it's a nerve, of course. The nerve is quite a fair bit, but I think this is old news. So yeah, I hope you've got all this information kind of like internalized within yourself. And I think the last one, I'll leave it as an exercise for you because I don't think it's that hard. It's the crit damage rating, brutal damage rating, as well as brutal chance. Now, brutal chance, there's no such thing as melee brutal chance or physical brutal chance or whatnot, so you don't need to worry too much. Brutal is just brutal. What is brutal? Many people thought that brutal is something else. No, brutal is something called your crit has a chance to instead brutal. Brutal is crit of crit. If you see a guy that add the brutal chance and the crit chance together, it doesn't work that way. No one add the two together. Brutal is the crit of crit. So just remember that. Of course, the more you crit, the more you're brutal because you open up the window for brutal. If you don't crit at all, then with the brutal it doesn't work. So it's just something to think about. All right. Same as for team up as well, by the way, not just on the hero. As far as the crit damage rating is concerned, it is whatever rating you have divided by 80. So 40 is for damage rating. Crit damage rating is on 80. Brutal damage rating is also divided by 80. Now, just remember that. And whatever you add onto the crit damage rating would benefit the brutal damage rating as well. So if you use a Gunir, you could, you could actually use a Gunir, take it off, and the both rating would drop. Both the crit damage rating and the brutal damage rating. And as for the brutal strike rating, just use this number, this formula here, right? So I hope you got, I hope you got a chance to do all these things on your own as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me quite a while to make, and I know it's very fundamental to quite a lot of you who has been doing a lot of number crunching, and it's like, why am I doing this kind of video? But I hope at the end it benefits some of you, and my job is done. I don't need to please everybody, right? So enjoy, and any questions, drop me a note. See you next time. Goodbye.